Alright. Alright. We are ready to start. Ready to start. Today, I think I'm going to just sketch a whole lot of Murakumo, because he's awesome. Yep. That in the corner there. I have my pure ref board, which has a bunch more reference on my other monitor, but I'll just pop him in the top right corner, or top left corner, so you can kind of see what it is Whoa. I accidentally discovered the interactive brush size control! Boy, I love how the majority of what I learned from his software is just from me clicking the wrong thing and then being like, whoa, what was that? Freaking awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna make this a little bigger so I have like a slightly larger reference thingy here. And I'm gonna lock this layer so I don't draw all over it. Now, I'm not really all that familiar with brushes and things in Procreate, so really kind of like looking around for what feels good. Oh, I'm so happy I figured that one out. I just love interactive brush control instead of going over here and clicking every time. It's so good. I don't know if anybody will join this time because it was a little bit short notice. It's not on the schedule, and it's a totally different time frame from when I'm usually streaming. But it occurred to me that because I'm on the West Coast, North America, probably like the majority of my followers or viewers are like likely east of me, and therefore it's like way later for you guys. So when I'm always doing my streams at 7, that might be like kind of like time prohibitive for some people, like just never able to join in because it's like always midnight or later on their time zone. So I was just thinking I would try this time frame because I had an opportunity to do so this week and see how it went. So yeah, I'm just gonna be just relaxed sketching. I don't know what exactly is gonna come out of this, but I just kind of figured I put regular human ears on him just for placement stuff and kind of forgot that he doesn't have those. I did that thing again. It's funny, his ears like always seem to be going backward in various images, but you know, if they were like fully animated, I feel like they would kind of tilt around the way an animal's ears do. So they're like listening and emoting. Oh, as for the music, I am a total like streaming and Twitch noob. So last time I just had Spotify playing, not realizing that like Twitch doesn't allow unlicensed music use, and, like even just in like the background of your thing. So this time I'm using the new app that Twitch released called Soundtrack. It's in beta, and it's there to provide background music during the stream that is, you know, license okay for Twitch use. So we don't have to worry about having portions of the audio muted later because yours truly was ding dong and forgot that the music industry is very protective of broadcast rights. So, oops, that's not quite it. This time, we just kind of have this background music provided by Twitch. So I haven't quite figured out the brushes completely in this software yet. Like what I like, what I want to use. So for this moment, essentially what I'm doing is cheating and using like a super, I guess it's not really cheating, a super light color so that it's like visible but takes a little bit of like some extra strokes to like kind of build it up. And the idea is that when I draw over this, it'll be like easy to distinguish between the sort of more committed lines versus the earlier sketching lines. I really, really like Murakumo's like big chunky eyebrows. I'm like a seriously an eyebrow fan. Like I don't really like the barely there like fine line eyebrows. I really enjoy these like super bold, absolutely in your face kind of eyebrows. Oh, I swear I'm going to make a marking menu for tool shortcuts very soon because I don't care for the hotkey configuration very much, so far at least. And I don't like reaching across my screen to get my tools. So okay. interesting to interpret. Oh, darn it. This guy's facial features and whatnot. Before I've really gotten super comfortable with drawing a specific character, the style tends to be closer to the source material than I would normally do, just because I'm still getting a feel for it and I haven't necessarily committed to muscle memory exactly how I want to interpret their features. So it's it takes a little time for me to sort of break away from the kind of more stylized eye shape, etc. I do think I have gone and made his jawline a little too subtle. Whoops. I'm telling you, man, I'm so used to Photoshop shortcuts. There we go. It's so funny how just the slightest difference makes a lot of change in the sort of read on the character's features. I do feel like this eye is a little low right now. It does seem to have kind of a interesting sort of bridge of his nose area. I kind of work that in and figure out what I want this nose shape to be. The other reason you knew Eve would like this character is he has a prominent nose. He doesn't have just a single line and a tiny little shadow. It's there, even in this very stylized approach that Rune Factory takes. There's a lot of nose, which is unusual for their bachelor characters. So this character design, ever since he was shown online, has been really exciting to me. It just seems so different from what they normally do. Even Leon, Rune Factory 4, barely had a nose. I got an idea. I wonder if I can... access. Might have to explore that a little more later. I'll have to look it up later. Gotta make those marking menus. Just really make my life better. And I know they totally like kind of did the cop-out thing and like made this bachelor with facial hair and chest hair and stuff a furry, and that's how they're like, oh no, it's fine, don't even worry about it. He's definitely not like an older hairy man. And I'm like, alright, sure. It's close enough for me, I guess. I'm not drawing his gigantic mane yet because I don't want the forms to be undefined, and that is going to happen if I don't, you know, take the time to establish where the various like parts of him are before I add all this hair that covers it up. I'm not so advanced on the like mental visualization scale that I can just hold that in my head without drawing it and then draw the fur perfectly on top. Like I kind of need an underdrawing to establish where that stuff is supposed to live. Like, you know, he's gonna have big shoulders. Because by the Rune Factory style standards, he really does. He's huge. But it's kind of funny that it's sort of not always obvious, because within the parameters of their style, they everyone kind of has this sort of like narrowness to them. So you just kind of have to like look at it in context and then interpret. This is a pretty big page, so I might actually scooch this down and make like a slightly more comprehensive drawing here. That shoulder's a little too big, actually. He's got big hands too. Look at that. His hand is like the same size as his whole face. Like head area. Kind of made him have slightly like sloping shoulders. Like they're broad, but not exactly bulging. I guess the other thing about this music app that Twitch provided is the songs are going to appear only in the stream itself, like this live part, and in the recording, the songs will be absent, so the recording will just have my voice. So if you're watching this on YouTube later on after I've posted it there, that's why I'm like talking about music but you're not hearing any music, is the Twitch soundtrack app is specially designed to not incorporate, at least that's what I read, not incorporate the music into the recording. It's got this, I guess it's down farther, just being silly. It always just kind of cracks me up when you have, like, part of his costume is this pauldron thingy that's, like, not attached to anything except, like, a strap that goes under his arm. And, imagining wearing something like that that's, like, not really secured per se, it's just sort of going, like, one string goes under your armpit. Like, there's no way that would stay up. And just thinking about wearing something like that makes me want to, like, pull my own hair out. It sounds like the most annoying thing. I feel like if you really wanted to wear this sort of, like, random pauldron thing, and it's not really, like, attached to any other clothing item or, like, armor, then you would basically have to have, like, some kind of strap going. So, like, it has the one under the arm, but, like, you would basically need one to go up like this or, like, across the chest or something. Because there's nothing keeping it from just sliding down the arm like that. That just seems, like, so bonkers to me. Like, I could never... Other funny thing about Rand Factory, they have this, like, thing about covering up their characters' necks sometimes, I feel like. Like, he just has this collar thing. It just seems to be like a soft piece of fabric that's just up here. And it's like if I just wore my headband, but on my neck. That's what it looks like. Ah, my downfall as usual. I just really wanted to draw his face, and now I'm kind of like working outward from the face, which is a questionable way to do things, because you don't really get the, like, pre-planned, like, the benefit of, like, planning out your pose. You're just sort of, like, making it up as you go along. Maybe I'm gonna have him just sort of like leaning back on his elbows. Because that's what seems to be like working here. But now what do I have his other arm do, right? It's like, it's just like questionable, lazy lack of decision making early on, I guess. But hey, I said I was just gonna relax and just draw this guy because it's fun and comfortable, I think. Even though I'm like not really all that confident with drawing him yet, because I've only done it like twice so far. But, you know, sometimes just drawing what you feel like drawing is the comfort, even if it's not necessarily like a character you're super familiar with and confident with drawing. I just muted my microphone so I could like burp, but I'm always like super paranoid that even though it's muted, it's somehow going to record it. So just in case my paranoia was warranted, I apologize for burping. But I don't think you could hear it because I did mute it. Hope you didn't hear it. I suppose if no one ends up tuning in for this stream, which is sort of like kind of random and short notice and different time than usual, it'll be there in the recording and I can put it in YouTube, and then people can watch it at their leisure. Don't really have any expectations per se. In fact, I only really like... Ugh, darn it. I only really started streaming because, you know, some folks on my Patreon expressed an interest, and there were a couple of like Twitter polls, and there were a handful of people who also expressed an interest, and I was just like, alright, I'm game. That's something you guys want to do, that sounds fun, you know? But I don't really have like an agenda or expectation when it comes to streaming. I'm just sort of trying it out and like just see how it feels kind of thing. Just try to have fun. Also, like, I found that streaming is a pretty good way to get like some very distraction-free art time, because, you know, it's like scheduled, you're recording, people might be like chatting with you in the thing, and so there's no other thing to like kind of confound your efforts to just concentrate on drawing. At least that's been my experience. It's just kind of like very easygoing. I don't have a lot of like times where it's like designated and things are not interrupting me or distracting me. So selfishly, doing the stream is potentially just a good way for me to get time, you know, to just have some drawing time. I'm a full-time working mom, and my little girl is like 2.5 years old, so don't really have a lot of time focus on drawing, I try to like kind of squeeze every little chance I get, and I think I do pretty well, like just to, you know, produce as many drawings as I do in a month. But a lot of times it's very like stopping and starting kind of deal, like a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Like I don't really get long stretches of time where like nothing's gonna come and come up and disrupt me. Like I can, I like usually spend a lot of my time for after she goes to bed, like just drawing and writing and creating things. But you know, she's still a little adorable toddler, and sometimes she has a rough time going to sleep, and sometimes to get up every few minutes to like, check on her or help her out, or you know, do whatever I gotta do. So the stream times are kind of special because they're like pre-arranged. My husband can, you know, he will agree to kind of be on call during that time, and so I know that she'll be taken care of, and I can just kind of relax and, you know, focus on doing art. So it's like, yeah, it's beneficial for me, even though like I said, the reason I kind of started looking into doing this was really more for the sake of the people who expressed an interest in watching, but it's also been really good for me. Okay, so he has this sort of wrap thing happening, but it's not until below his pecs. So we'd go back right about there. And then what's going on with his other arm here? It's like it is in a sleeve. Maybe not. Try and figure out what I'm looking at here. Boy, it'll be nice when we have the game and we can actually see what the heck is going on. Okay, so he just has like a sort of separate sleeve with armor. On this arm, and I don't really have good reference for what that armor looks like. I have like a little bit here and there, but nothing too informative, honestly. So I'm just gonna have to kind of wing it based on the information screenshots that I do have. Fortunately, that arm is not all that visible in most of these screenshots, but there's one. If I zoom in really far in, I can kind of see what's happening. He's got like doodad that looks like this. It's got a strap that goes under. Actually, it's probably more about back here on the wrist. Yeah. And then it's got something that kind of goes on the outside. How does that work when you twist your arm? The way an arm twists is my favorite, sort of artistically the most interesting thing to me on the whole body almost. It's like so fascinating, the twist of the forearm, and so satisfying when you kind of like get it right and like successfully draw it. So I am very interested in that. But the thing is, the armor itself would not twist with your arm if it's one big solid piece like it appears to be. Like even leather armor wouldn't do that, so we gotta bear that in mind and kind of say that this separate part on his wrist is gonna overlap. But the twist is still sort of represented here. And I don't see anything like a strap attaching it to his elbow area, but I'm gonna add one because it just doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me otherwise. At this point I'm just like downright cavalier about adding things to Rune Factory clothing designs if I feel like they just need something to make sense of it all. Alright. He's got a thing here. His hands don't really feel equal size to me. One of them is viewed from the side, so just kind of bear that in mind. So I'm kind of picturing that there's some kind of like surface here he's resting his elbow on that drops off because he's sitting a little bit lower, so it's like a kind of bench, I guess. And there would be... See, again, this is just me doing absolute lack of planning crimes. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my toddler is trying to break into this office as we speak to demand mommy time. We had planned for her to go see her grandparents this morning, who just live just down the street. We have a really, like, amazingly convenient, logistically, availability of family members, but she had kind of a tough morning, so didn't end up going over there. But so that means now her dad is watching her, but any chance she gets, she's gonna try and get in here. Okay, the Obi would go here-ish. Ah, so the number account says somebody is watching. Welcome. Please feel free to pop in the chat if you want to. If you have any questions or you just kind of want to chat while I'm drawing, like chatting with you guys, please always feel welcome to do so. Lurking's okay too. Totally don't mind. I get it. I'm pretty shy when it comes to interacting in like other people's forums and whatnot. So I understand. I think they declined to draw nipples on him in the character art. But I will do the thing. Okay, so let's scoot this over a little bit. Alright. And the other part of his thing is kind of just hanging because he likes to have this pauldron armored arm out, apparently. Which is also kind of hilarious to me. I feel like Rune Factory 5 has got to be like the most overtly horny in terms of the character design. This guy is just like half of his chest out already, and then Ludmilla is, they just straight up say in her character bio that she's a succubus, and I'm like, oh, okay, alright. This is where we're going with this. It's just kind of funny. I did not expect them to be quite so direct about that. Cavalier, I guess, is the word. Okay, so it's got these like funny, like long fur pieces, but they're like underneath these big tufts up by his jawline. Darn it. One day I will remember the default hotkeys, but honestly, probably before that ever happens, I'm just gonna change them to something custom. Yeah, I love this guy. He's like... He's more... He's like less cut, but more butch than Leon, which I really appreciate, because the whole like bodybuilder shaping is like, it's nice, it's cool, it's fun to draw, but I really like a slightly more, I don't know, I guess you'd say like natural build that still appears to be like, you know, like strong or buff, but like not for show, if that makes sense. It's like buff because they do work. And their body had to adapt to that, as opposed to they lift a bunch of things specifically so that their body will look a certain way. I think it's really cool. I mean, that's cool too, because it's like treating your body as an art form, essentially, or like a way of self-expression, so I'm definitely not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, I have a special appreciation for characters who are designed to be like big and buff for reasons having to do with their lifestyle or their like personality that's like, you know, not for show, it's just incidental to another purpose. I think that's really neat and like narratively interesting as well. Guess I'm gonna get a lot of practice drawing kimono because of this game. Because I'm gonna be drawing a lot of Murakumo, I am sure. You know, provided that his in-game interactions are satisfying and don't go really off the rails. Like, I know Dillis is a really popular character and I've come to appreciate him, but I had this like period of time where I just really did not like him anymore. Like, he was the character I really looked forward to before Rune Factory 4 came out, and I was like, yeah, that's the character I'm gonna romance, it's gonna be great. Like, I was into the whole tsundere thing. But like the writing of his dialogues and his interactions, especially the marriage interaction, just really bothered me. And it did not feel like satisfying to me. It felt like really messed up. So I kind of swore off everything Dillis for a really long time. And then like later on, I wrote some different fics and stuff that involve like the Doug Dillis ship because it's really popular and like a lot of people I know like are super into it. And so I was like, all right, well, like, I'll write something for them, and really enjoyed it and like kind of explored a different like a more in-depth interpretation of his character that like kind of solved some of the issues that I had with the way he's written in game. So that was really good, and kind of like helped me appreciate that character the way a lot of other people in the fandom really appreciate him. But not well, I don't know if I would actually phrase it that way. Like, I don't know if the way I appreciate him is the same as how other people do, but I feel more like I can identify with people's liking of him and understand it more than I used to, just because of that exploration of him in writing. So I don't mind him so much now, but there was a period of time where I was just like angry every time I saw Dillis. I was like, you get out of here, you get out. I just found his marriage event dialogue to be really disappointing. And it's not just like the way he responds to it, it's like the way he acts, and then the way everybody else responds to it just seemed like really weird. And I was like, I don't know, like the message that I felt like the game was telling just really didn't jive with me, and I was like, nah, no thank you, I do not like this. Okay, we gotta get his tail in there, don't we? We need this furry man's tail to make an appearance, please. And I'm gonna put it on the screen right. Shrink down our... Oh, that's right, it's locked. Shrink down our reference a little bit. Make some space. I'm gonna put this like kind of angled up because I kind of see it as he's kind of propping one leg up, like his knee is up. But that means I need to kind of grab these items, shift them a little bit. To me, the like idea of drawing and like kind of developing a mental visual library of stuff, like it's all, well, the goal is instinct, right? But as opposed to like this sort of typical idea and meaning of the word instinct as being sort of like intrinsic or like you're born with that instinct, I don't feel like that's true in this case for art. Like, I think developing good instincts completely depends on like the work of really, you know, constructing and curating your mental library. And then it does feel kind of like an automatic process, but it's like you have to get there. You're definitely not born with that. You have to, at least I'm not. Maybe there are people out there in the world who like don't really have to work so hard for it. I don't know. I just know what my experience is like. That every like functional, acceptable, like visual instinct I have that results in good work was like hard won. And it took a lot of like observation and trial and error and like incorporation to you know, finally get to the point where I felt like it was working for me. And I'm still working on it. Like, I still have a lot of information I need to build in my visual library so that I can more instinctively, I can progress and more instinctively recognize when something's off.
Long time no see, Afro.
Oh, weird. I can't handle this Darth Vader breathing thing. I'm gonna skip this song. Which is gonna be kind of a non sequitur in the later recording because the music won't be there, but just trust me. It was strange and distracting, and I did not want it. Okay, so somewhere in the back of this kimono, presumably, there is a big frickin' hole to make room for his enormous, fluffy tail. And it is fluffy. Let me tell you, like, in the screenshot I have that is kind of clipped out of a... Here it is. Let me find it and copy it and paste it in here for a second. Oops, that didn't work at all. Copy. Paste? Yeah. Okay. So, check that out. Look how enormous that tail is. So yeah, I'm operating on that understanding that this tail is freaking gigantic. So it's gonna be very prominent in the scene. I love that. I like the idea of Alice just like taking a nap all curled up in this tail. Super fluffy tail. I have not really been in the habit of drawing using my PC in so long because I got the iPad and really got into Procreate and just abandoned my PC pretty much for purposes of drawing. I mean, obviously I still use it for everything else a person uses a PC for, and I still use it for all my 3D work, so it's not that I just like became an exclusive tablet user, but like for drawing I was for the longest time. And so I was a little bit nervous to try this. I really didn't want to do it with Photoshop. So when Clip Studio had one of their sales, I was like, you know, I think it was the Black Friday sale, which is probably the same as virtually every time they go on sale, honestly. But I was like, okay, take the plunge. So I'm kind of just going through that period of time where you're just getting familiar with the software, and it's interesting. Like, you feel kind of like a little on unsure footing in the beginning always, and that's hard to like cope with if you have like another software you're like really used to, another set of tools, and like you feel confident with those tools and you feel like you really know what's up, and then like kind of going to a new set of tools and like learning new software and just going through that period again where like you can't just instantly get the results you want or the results you're imagining in your mind because it's unfamiliar stuff and you don't know how it runs yet. So it can be really frustrating and feel like you've gone backwards in like your overall ability. So it can be really repelling when you're first starting out with a new tool set. and like really nerve-wracking, and if you're kind of an anxious person like I am, that just can be really challenging. But I do feel like the stream is a nice setting for me to do that. Paradoxically, you'd think that like, you know, broadcasting and recording would be like the most intimidating kind of space in which to do this. But despite my like various struggles with anxiety, I've actually always been like really cool with public speaking. I'm pretty comfortable with it. So recording doesn't throw me. And like kind of derping around in this software I'm not very familiar with, it just feels okay. Like I guess I'm like a little nervous, but it's nothing that's gonna, you know, really hamper me, fortunately. And actually it feels kind of good because it's like, well, it's your recording, so you just kind of got to keep going, even if things get sort of amiss for a second there. Something about that is like kind of helps me let go. Not really sure if I'm explaining it well, but that in essence is the experience I'm having. Okay, I need to see this. That's right, he's got big... Well, I guess you can't see him because of the pose. He's got these like big creaturey fingernails, but I don't think we're gonna draw him because they're just not visible in this relaxed pose where his hands are partially obscured. I do need this hand to feel bigger though. It's just not sitting right. The brush I've decided to use for the early part of this drawing is the colored pencil. I like how it like takes a little bit of like repeated strokes and effort to, you know, get a firm mark, because it like sometimes you're sketching and as you're sketching you're just sort of like feeling your way toward a result and you're kind of building it up instead of just whoosh one line and you're done. So I like this because I feel like it's well suited to that kind of approach. There's the nipple. You know what? In real life, like, nipples are not this oval shape, it seems to me. But it just feels more, like, right for some reason to draw them that way. I don't know what that's about. It's a piece of stylization I can really get behind, but could I tell you why? No, not really. I've also drawn this... I've redrawn this line already, but it's sort of just sitting here, and that's not what it would be doing. Because he's like reclining, and there's no way it would just sit there like flush against his chest. It would be wrinkled. I feel like a big part of drawing and like the instinct and visual library thing I was talking about earlier has everything to do with just learning how to see. And that maybe sounds weird, but I think it's really true. Like, a huge part of doing art well is just learning to notice things, learning to see, teaching your brain and your eyes to like really work out what is it you're looking at, and does that match like what you know to be, you know, the representation that you're going for and what you want. And there's like so many categories of it too. Like, can you see, you know, the style that you're looking for? Can you see the pose, the anatomy, you know, like every category you can think of, there's like this category of being able to perceive if things are on or off from what you were going for. I have no idea what it is he's sitting on. Some kind of chair. What do chairs look like in the Rune Factory universe? Hell if I know. There's just that one, like, bit in the trailer for Rune Factory 5 where they're, like, sitting at the table and it's, like, a date at the inn or the restaurant or whatever. And, it looks so weird to me because the... I wonder if I have a picture of it here. Hang on. I can probably go find it, if not. It looks so weird to me because it's, like, super duper... The scale is weird. That's what it is. It's like... The chairs look so small. Or the chairs look so big, the characters look so small sitting in them. I'm gonna see if I can find that image real quick. They appear to be just like sort of your kind of simple mission style thing. This isn't the picture I was thinking of, but in the interest of not taking up too much time, I'm just gonna grab it. Okay. They just look so small next to the table. I feel like the scale of the characters in the scene versus the objects in the scene is really strange. Like, she doesn't even look like she could, like, rest her elbows on this desk. In fact, it looks like her hands are, like, clipping under the desk or the table. It's just so weird. But yeah. That's just a strange thing I noticed when I was watching the trailers. I'm kind of just picturing one of those wooden chairs that sort of leans back. Maybe like similar, or like not really a wooden chair, but like a wooden bench, you know, like in an interior, it would be like up against the wall. And like a bit rustic. Like there would be these slats. Like it's made of these thin pieces of wood. Oh yeah, there's totally a way to do... How does it work? Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's super weird. How do you do this? Why is it anchoring to... Okay, so it anchors to the last part you drew from. Okay. This is me not knowing yet how this software works. Big time. But that's pretty nice. Yeah, ruler. Dig it. Okay. Except that it would essentially be like, if this part is sort of conjoined to the wall, then it should be... should go back farther. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Got all wowed by the ruler tool and forgot what I was doing, really. Get that with my hand real quick. So yeah, essentially the wall is something like that. So this camera is slanted relative to the environment, is what I'm saying. And somewhere in the vicinity of here, there is a section that becomes the arm. Thinking of like maybe it's made of bamboo, I don't know, but like the wooden furniture inside of like a sauna or like a spa kind of situation. Not that I've been in a lot of those, but just enough times to kind of have like this vague idea. And I'm gonna try and use that vague idea to draw from. Okay. I feel like he would be this isn't quite right up here, because these lines on the back of the chair are on a sloped surface, so it can't match them. It's gotta be more like that. Yeah, okay. It might be a little closer to what we're looking at. And they're gonna be wider too, because they're gonna be like more like the typical board siding of a room. Board wall. Wooden. Whatever you call that. Gotta erase these lines. Those aren't supposed to be there anymore. I feel like this guy would just always like, and he's like featured in the trailers and stuff, like as being in this bathhouse that has like these like kind of natural elements like rock and wood everywhere. So it makes sense to me that he would like dwell in places that, you know, use materials in the construction that are very like, you know what these materials are, you know where they came from. They're not like super processed, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess that kind of describes most of Rune Factory stuff, but you know, like rather than a brick building, you'd see this guy in a wooden building. There's this certain sort of like flexibility of the construction that I just feel like be more suited to him. Oh, hi! I don't know if this is a bot or a person. I hope you're a person. Hello. I always get a little bit confused when the name has like a lot of numbers in it. And I've had bots come in before, so I hope you're a person and that you want to talk. Thank you. Yay! Welcome, my fellow human. I also feel like there should be a plant, like maybe a big, what are these plants called? They have like the big leaf with these like cutout shapes in it. I feel like there would be one of these. background. Gotta get some reference for that later. Yeah, me too, Moonlight. I don't know what I'm doing. I usually use Procreate, but I got Clip Studio on a sale, and a lot of people like really sing its praises, so I was like, yeah, okay. I will try to learn it. Get one of these leaves over here. Oh, I think this is the default layout for the interface, if that's what you're referring to with the layout. I had like a unique layout for like a minute, but it was confusing me because I just don't know the program well enough yet. So I had to like reset it to default, and I'll make another like custom one later when I sort of know what I'm doing more. I think in the future I'm gonna take advantage of some of the features where you can like customize some marking menus that pop up when you hit a certain key, like right under your cursor. Because I really like those kinds of features, and I use that in other kinds of software. So that's something I will be investigating. But I didn't want to do that on stream, because I figured that would be really boring to watch. So it's something I'm going to get figured out later. Yeah, I like having these leaves and plants kind of just poking into the image here. I think this is embarrassing a little bit, because why wouldn't I know this from life? But I think these plants are called Monstera, because I have one in Animal Crossing, and that's what it's called. Oh boy. Do plant research. Did you just start using Clip Studio recently too, Moonlight? What made you decide to pick it up and try to figure it out? And what did you use before? Ibis. Interesting. I feel like I've heard the name of it before, but I don't know if I've ever even seen what the program looks like. Before, or other than Clip, I have used mostly like Procreate and Photoshop, and I really don't like Photoshop for drawing or painting like at all. It just always has felt sort of wrong and unwieldy to me. But I've also dabbled in a few other like PaintStorm Studio and Krita and I think I might have tried out Paint Tools Sai like years and years ago. Never really got into that one either. But I know a lot of people have had like really, good results and were really comfortable with Paint Tools Sai, so. Oh yeah, you just got a drawing tablet? What kind did you get? Oops, I totally muted my microphone without realizing it. Huion, I have not used one of those before. I've only really used the iPad, like Apple Pencil and Wacom products. Like a long time ago, I had the Intuos 2 and then the Intuos 3, and then a few years back, I had saved up for like a number of years while I was in school and finally got a Cintiq that I've been using the past few years. But I have never used a Huion product. How is it? Do you like it? Oh yeah, not used to not looking at your hand yet. I remember that being a big struggle for me in the beginning. I've been using tablet devices, like drawing tablet devices, I mean, for a really long time. I started probably around... Oh gosh, when would that have been? Like... 2001? 2002? Anyway, I remember it being like really hard to adapt to like moving my hand but looking at the screen. And I think I would have trouble with it now because it's been so long since I used that type. I've just been using ones that work on the screen. Cintiq is a monitor into itself, and then the Apple Pencil, of course, is writing directly on the tablet. So I think it would be tough for me to go back to that. It's like, you get used to it, and then, like, it's really comfortable, and you, like, don't even notice it anymore, but until the point where you are able to, like, really get used to it, it's very challenging. Ah, nice! I don't know if it's possible to post images in the chat, but if you like, you can share it. Alright, I think I might make a new layer and use a darker color and a different brush to start working in more committed lines, see what that's like. I'm just gonna lock that layer so I don't draw on it by accident. Get my reference back for a second. This is presumably 100% zoom. I don't like the fall off on this brush very much. It's really why I like Procreate the most, is it has like a much nicer, like, you just can't beat the response to the Apple Pencil, at least as far as I've experienced. It just feels so tuned. Moonlight, did you previously only work in traditional art, or are you starting up doing art in digital? Like, is this your kind of first foray into artwork, but you started in a digital space? Nice. I find that digital is like totally its own animal, and I don't like to really try to duplicate real media exactly. I know a lot of people are like super into that with like digital art, but I like the sort of smoothness of the digital, so I don't really try too hard to perfectly copy traditional, but I do think that you can bring a lot of like understanding from a traditional background or just practicing with traditional media that can help make your digital art better. In the undersketch, I totally drew him with like regular pupils, but he kind of has much more vertical animal pupils. So I better incorporate that. So part of my deal is I don't know if I like having super hard-edged brushes for line art. I'm not convinced. I might, oops. I might scrap this layer and start again with a different brush. Try out a couple of things and see. Test. That is not what I wanted. Somehow I have changed to airbrush without realizing it. Just like a brush that builds up a little bit. I haven't quite found what I'm looking for here in Clip Studio yet. What happens when you change the brush density? That kind of just makes it more airbrushy. Oh wait, that was hardness. Brush density's down here. What does that do? It's more like the steps of the stamping. Stamp. Stabilization. Not quite what I'm looking for. Maybe it's amount of paint? Is that it? It still looks the same. Density of paint. Maybe that's like... Oh, look at that. It's pulling white off the canvas. Huh, interesting. Well, that's not quite what we're going for either. Well, go back to the pencil tools and see what I can find in here. That's starting to look like it. Yeah, okay. It's starting to feel a little bit more like what I'm going for here. We've been calling Murakumo a wolf, but the fact that he has the slitted eyes makes me think he might be a fox. Maybe all the Rune Factory were animal people in Rune Factory 5's trailer are fox people. That's unfortunate. Sorry, you can't send the art. I'm not that familiar with how Twitch works, but I guess it probably doesn't allow for images in the chat, huh? I just started streaming, so I don't really know all the details of how stuff works. Sorry about that. You tried to chat with me on Twitter just now. I'm not really monitoring Twitter right now because I'm kind of just focusing on the stream. But we can chat on there later if you want. Ah, I see. You were trying to send it through Twitter. Well, I can take a look there later. Oops, where'd my brush go? There we go. Man, I just really like drawing fur and hair. It's like the treat part of the drawing for me. Used to be like one of the hardest things, but I guess I just done it so much that now it's really kind of relaxing. Gotta move him over here. All the extra, like, hair and fur, like, it does make Murakumo very fun to draw. There's just a lot of, like, texture to it. It's just a pleasing character design. I'm just really happy with the Rune Factory 5 character designs as a whole. And I've been saying that, like, ever since they were revealed, pretty much. Just, like, they're all really satisfying. They're really solid. And in the last stream, I talked a lot about how the Rune Factory characters in the past, for the games that were on the handheld consoles, they had a lot of like really strange things about them, but I believe that a lot of those things were kind of influenced by the needs of the platform. Like when you're making games on a 3DS, your characters need to be like super recognizable and readable, even if they're just a few pixels on the screen. So like I totally accept that. It's just really nice to see, like, I guess you could say this is sort of like the potential realm of character design in this style, because this game is launching on the Switch and potentially other consoles, but I don't remember. I only really pay attention to the Switch part. But essentially it's just like giving them room for, you know, a less constrained character design. It's really neat to see such like enjoyable and compelling character designs come out of that. I'm still tempted to make another strap for this thing to go like across the chest or something. It just makes zero sense to me, but we'll leave it as is for now. Probably go for another few minutes at least. It's almost 2 hours into the stream. I know a lot of streams kind of go on longer. For me, a lot of the time it's just not practical to do a really long one. But I'll do more this month, and you know, maybe they'll be continuing this piece, or maybe there'll be a new thing. I don't know yet, but be lots of opportunities. Current stream schedule is every Friday night at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. But I will look for more opportunities to do other times periodically. I just don't really have the ability to schedule other times just yet. The 7:30 to 9:30 PST block is the only time right now that I consistently have available. But we'll see how that sort of develops over time. And as always, the recordings will be available later. So Twitch will keep them up for 20 days, but I have now started uploading them to my YouTube channel so they can be viewed there indefinitely. trying to incorporate line weight as I go, but a lot of times I have to go back in after the fact and add a little bit more. I love the pop that it gives when you use line weight to kind of give a little bit more information about the depth of field in the image and what objects are overlapping others and areas where there would be more ambient occlusion. It's just really nice to be able to stylistically give hints to that information using only the line weight. But it can be really challenging to do that like as you go, so sometimes I do have to kind of come back to it and add that as a pass that comes after the initial line work. up the canvas yet to make sure I don't have any ridiculous errors. Really should have done that earlier. Let's see, it doesn't look that terrible. I gotta figure out how to do the lattice thing. It's probably in here. Doesn't look that bad, but there's some things I want to nudge, but I don't really know the Clip Studio equivalent of Liquify yet, so I'm not really sure how to go about it. But hopefully I'll figure that out soon and I can come in and kind of correct it a little bit. see if I can look up really fast how to do the liquefy so I can fix this part of the drawing. Okay, mesh transformation. That's what we're looking for. Transform. Mesh transformation. And then we need to be able to add lines. She can only do it this much. That might be enough. This is actually a pretty good argument for keeping the character on a separate layer from the background. So it would not be possible to make this kind of edit once the background is established. That feels a little better to me. Might redraw those ears later. There's something kind of funky about them. And I think we've lost placement of the nose a little bit too. That's cool. Aha, and we can change the mesh transformation resolution by selecting only a specific area. It respects masks. That's cool. And while that is good to know, I do feel like it'll probably be faster and more direct to just redraw part of this. Just like that tipped back look he's got. The ears. these lines I made for the background because I think I want to keep the background lines separate from the character lines in case I need to adjust something. Swap back over here. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop there for today. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you next time as well. And I'll keep going on the Friday nights. Sometimes it'll be games, but I think most of the time it'll be art. And I'll keep looking for opportunities to do one of these kind of earlier time frame ones too. I know the late time frame is kind of a no-go for a lot of people. And I will be posting this recording on YouTube, so it will be available past the 20 days that Twitch saves it on the channel. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye.